Kylie, thank you very much. Nikki?
Thank you, Frank. Our recent polling shows the Newsom campaign is losing support among the Latino community. They are the largest ethnic group in California at 39%, and some believe Latinos could decide whether or not Governor Newsom is recalled. Mr. Faulkner, I'll start with you. What do you think is the biggest issue facing the Latino community? And if you become governor, how would you fix it? You have 60 seconds.
We have to get our schools open. Too many Latino parents were faced with that horrible decision when Gavin Newsom shut down our schools. I have to go to work, or am I going to be at home to watch my kids? And I think that's why you're seeing the anger, the frustration that is real when we shouldn't have been shut down like we were in California, but Gavin Newsom did it. I think you're also seeing our Latino families and entrepreneurs, small businesses that were opened and closed, as I said, 5 and 6 different times because of the changing metrics that we got from this governor. Couldn't follow along, like virtually any business couldn't. But changing, it was on geographic color codes. It was handled terribly. And so there's real consequences of this. And so that's why you're seeing our Latino families who want a leader who's going to stand up, support our small businesses, who's going to support keeping our kids in school, and will give them a choice on where their kids should go to school. We need more parental choice. We need to support and expand charter schools in California. When we do that, you're going to lift up all kids from all backgrounds.
A follow-up on that, just more specifically, in your first term, if you become governor, what specifically would you do to reach out to the 39% of the population?
So we're going to give you choice in schools. You're going to have a governor that's going to understand how important it is to actually provide and promote and give you opportunities to be entrepreneur. You're going to have a governor that's going to lower the tax burden on you because our middle-class families and our Latino families are paying too much in taxes to Sacramento. It's very simple economics. And again, that's why so many families are leaving California, because of how expensive it is. And so if we don't change that dynamic, we're going to continue to see that burden, not just on Latino families, but families all across California.
Mayor Faulkner, thank you. Mr. Kiley, same question to you. What do you think is the biggest issue facing the Latino community, and what would you do to fix it? You have 60 seconds.
I began my career as a high school teacher in South LA, and 70% of my students were Latino. And the lack of educational opportunity is absolutely, I think, the most important issue. You know, the mayor is correct that a lot of it's folks in underserved communities that just fell off the map, never even signed in for Zoom school. And I can tell you, though, that the problems pre-existed that. The average reading level of my 10th graders when they came into my classroom was 5th grade. Even prior to COVID, California ranked 49th out of the 50 states in terms of education outcomes in low-income communities. So I came to the legislature to try to fight for educational equity and opportunity, yet every attempt I've made has been snuffed out by the biggest spending special interest in our capital, the teachers' unions, and they give more money to Gavin Newsom than anyone else. So he came into office. Jerry Brown had a more balanced approach, but once Gavin Newsom was there, it was open season. The war on charter schools picked up. He signed legislation that was condemned by civil rights groups like chapters of the NAACP and the Urban League, and it's for that same reason that he shut down our schools longer than any in the country, because it's what his biggest special interest benefactor wanted.
So let's say you do become governor. You mentioned trying to get work done in the legislature. You mentioned special interests. How would a Republican governor work with the balance that you would have to with supermajorities in the Democratic Party to get what you're talking about done? You have 30 seconds.
Well, I'd first say the era of corruption is over. The people of California have spoken, and I'd seek to spread my model of only having citizen-backed legislators, not legislators who are controlled and funded almost entirely by special interest groups. But for my 5 years in the legislature, I've seen that the one thing legislators respond to is political pressure, the fear of losing their job. And if they see the governor has just lost his job, then there'll be a unique opportunity to bring about fundamental change on issues like education reform and school choice.
Mr. Kiley, thank you. Mr. Cox, same question to you. What would you do to reach out to the Latino community and fix the problems that they face? You have 60 seconds.
Mi madre habla español para una nativa. My mother spoke Spanish like a native, and she taught poor children in Chile. My mom was a school teacher, raised us a single mom in the streets of Chicago. And I started at the bottom, and I got a good education. And then I got the opportunity to start my own business. That's what the Latino families need in California, and every family needs that in California. But the politicians, the celebrities, The insiders have denied them that. They take them for granted. They give them little checks here and there, and then they give them a substandard school system. And then they throw roadblocks in their way. You can't start a business in this state if you're an entrepreneurial bent. You have to go through miles and miles of documents and hire lawyers and accountants. Most people can't do that. You know, you have to have a license in order to shampoo hair in California. This is nonsense. We've got to make it easier for people to get a great education. School choice is absolutely what I'm going to argue for. And we need to make sure that people can start their own businesses and become a success and get the American dream like I've had.
So just to follow up here, you say education and regulation, 30 seconds.
Absolutely. Education is absolutely key. You have to have a good education. But we also have to cut the regulations that restrict people from opening their own businesses. The volume of lawsuits and regulations and bureaucratic mess. When I'm the governor of this state, we're going to slash regulation. We're going to make it easier for people to start businesses because small business is the engine. It's the way that people can start at the bottom like I did and rise and get that piece of the American dream. And I want every Latino family and every family in California to have the same opportunity that I did.